Welcome everyone to the Soft Society, and thank you for being here on a Thursday evening. I nearly forgot what day it is today. It's the 17th of October. Welcome, Linda. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys are feeling the soothing energy that we're trying to create here. And I'm going to share a little bit about why this event's even happening in the first place. I feel personally, I've been in Barcelona for the past 2.5 years, on and off. I just left this summer, as some of you know. And Barcelona can sometimes, especially in the entrepreneurial space, bring a little bit of heart, push, restless energy, where we're all trying to build something really beautiful. We're really trying to make an impact in people's lives, but sometimes we can be very hard on ourselves. And I don't know, maybe because we're attached to outcomes, a certain version of who we want to be, how we want to be perceived in life. So this event came to me as an inspiration because of my own hardness. I was in a phase of my life this summer where I was a little bit hard on myself, and I felt really lost and confused, and I remember asking for divine guidance, and I just heard the Soft Society. And I knew what I had to do. I knew what I was here to bring to Barcelona with these beautiful speakers and facilitators next to me. So today is about moving from the mind to the body, mind to the heart, so that we can become magnetic, so that we can soften and receive things, because a lot of us get adrenaline out of giving, right? A lot of us are in the well-being space, or a lot of us are providing services to the world. And I think it's really beautiful to give, but it's also really lovely to receive. So I hope you guys receive the love we have for you guys today. And before I welcome any one of the speakers, I'm going to hand over to Camille, because she has a special treat for us.
Is everyone comfortable? Yes? Okay. Can everyone hear me okay as well? Okay. I'm around with it. So I'm Camille, and I'm the founder of Elemental Mobility, the Soft Space, which is a substack all about compassionate leadership and authentic living. And then also, I'm launching my startup called 5 Minutes for Love. And it's all about democratizing love and making love a global standard. So behind every action, or every thought, or every word, there's usually someone who's looking for love, or who wants to share love, or someone who maybe didn't have enough love, and therefore doesn't even know what that is, and doesn't know how to bring that into the world, and maybe is acting from a place of what we would deem maybe ill-intended. And so with this movement of 5 Minutes for Love, the idea is really to allow more and more people to connect with their hearts, to connect with their center of empathy, compassion, kindness, forgiveness. And to realize by doing that we all want the same thing, we all want love. And it could be like we want success, but success is actually love. And it could be we want abundance, but abundance is actually love. But anyway, we'll talk about this. And so the more and more people connect with their hearts, the more and more people connect together. And the more and more people maybe take decisions from a place that is in their own interest, in the interest of the collective, in the interest of the planet. So, yes. And I believe that when we connect with our hearts, we can co-create a better world together. Because this world, this reality that we're experiencing, is not external to us. It all depends on us to change it. And so the more we connect with that center of empathy, the more we can co-create something beautiful and harmonious. So, all right. So if everyone's ready, find your comfortable seat and find a space where we're going to jump into a little meditation to connect with our hearts. And so find a seat or a position that feels comfortable and where you feel relatively erect, but then also relatively relaxed. So try and find that soft point in between alertness and relaxation. And when you're ready, start closing your eyes and bring your awareness within. And let's together take one big breath in through the nose and exhaling out by the side. And again, inhaling through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. And again, inhaling through the nose, inflating the chest, softening the belly, inhaling a little bit more, and exhaling out. back of the head, the ears, the inside of the cheeks, the jaw, the eyebrows, just softening. Just find maybe what that word softening means in that context of just finding a bit more relaxation, a bit more space. And then moving into the throat and neck and shoulders and back and belly and pelvis and legs and feet and arms and hands, and really finding a way to create a little more space in the body. Maybe you can feel some sensations in the body, maybe you don't feel anything, maybe you've got an itch and I dare you to try and not scratch it. It might still be there and be good by itself. And with your intention, I'd like to bring your awareness to a point of contact between your body and the seat that you're on, maybe the sole of your feet on the floor, or wherever your feet are. And just with your intention, visualize yourself just letting go of something, maybe letting go of a habit, letting go of a thought, letting go of any concerns of the past, present, and future into the earth, just visualizing through the base of your spine, through the sole of your feet, that you're letting go. And then visualizing some roots growing deep into the earth from the sole of your feet, from the base of your spine. Imagine that those roots are growing deep, spreading wide. And draw in something that you want to call in for this next chapter, for this minute, for this hour, for this week. It can be anything. And just feel that which you call in being drawn in through your roots, into your legs, into your body, into your heart. And visualize that heart of yours like a bowl of alchemy, like a cauldron. And visualize yourself transforming that which you've pulled in and releasing it into the rest of your body, into your cells, into your arms and hands, into the crown of your head out, into the universe. And bring your attention to your heart. Can you feel your heartbeat in this present moment? What is the quality of your heartbeat? Is it fast? Is it slow? Just observing without judgment. And maybe for a moment thinking, what is your heart beating for? What makes your heart beat more than anything else in the world? Maybe it's a what, maybe it's a who. And just observe whatever comes up. And for an instant, I'd like you to bring into your heart the memory of someone who's really dear to you, someone you love. And really feel the sensations of bringing that person into your heart, into your mind. And try and expand it. Maybe bring someone else into your heart that you love. Maybe it's even a situation, or again, a thing, an animal, a plant. Maybe it's a memory. And if that feeling of love feels a little bit hard to connect with, maybe you can invite the emotion of joy. And feeling that emotion rise into your heart, into your body, allowing all of your cells to feel that activation from that emotion of love, from that emotion of joy, and allow it to spread into all of your being. And if you feel like sharing that emotion, sharing that energy, allow it to spread even wider around you, in the space around you. Maybe you can feel the petals of love overlapping, creating one giant petal of love in this room. Maybe you can feel it expand into the whole city, into the whole street, into the whole country and continent, into the whole planet Earth, into the whole universe. And just feel for a second the quality of your love is just as good as the quality of the love of everyone else in the space. And then bringing your attention back onto your heart. Maybe placing your hands on your heart. Feeling that heartbeat. And drawing a smile on your face and maybe bringing that emotion of gratitude. Gratitude for yourself. Gratitude for anyone involved in this present moment. In whatever sense it makes sense for you. And maybe drawing a smile on your face and taking one inhale through the nose again, bringing life force energy to the body, through the breath, through the prana. And exhaling out through the mouth. And again, inhaling through the nose. And one last time, inhaling through the nose. And let you slowly open your eyes and start looking around. Maybe finding one person to lock eyes with. And just notice how this person is like you, what you have in common. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How's everyone feel now?
Are we grounded again? Are we present? Back into our bodies? I know I am, and I had a huge smile on my face when she was guiding this meditation, also because she invited us to smile, but I just feel really lucky and, well, getting really emotional, but I feel really lucky and grateful that I get to share this space with you guys. Just want to say that. Like, the fact that all of you are here is divine. The fact that I get to do this talk today with people that I love and admire so much is divine. So thank you all for being here, for your love. And okay, I'm gonna get started. Right. So appreciate that. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a little intro because I think it's important for you guys to know who is sitting in front of you. Right, we're a bunch of strangers for some of you, so it's very important for me to introduce ourselves. So I'm going to start with me. My name is Avi Ajwani, Indian parents, born and raised in Gran Canaria. Funny, beautiful mix. And I'm a creative business coach. I help creative entrepreneurs and coaches to build businesses from their heart, to really stop pushing and start leaning back and receiving more of the abundance and the blessings that they can receive when they're not in that aggressive, desperate energy and needy energy, more from their heart center. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to say a few words about each person here, but I'm actually not going to introduce them. I'm going to let them do it. So I met Jennifer here on the right-hand side, Jennifer Carr. She's a mind-body coach, and she's also a voiceover artist. You'll hear her voice. It's incredible in just a moment. And just like the flow of life and the softness of life, we met on a beautiful hike in Corserola through Sugo sessions. And I think when we met, we both felt an energy. I think we both felt something really special. And I think 2.5 years later, we're still here in the same room, and I get to do a talk with her, so I'll let her introduce herself in a moment. Here's Camille, that also I met while swimming in Shoa and seeing a very beautiful sunrise, and we exchanged books on our first encounter, so another example of softness that just came to me. Here's my brother and really good friend Sébastien, who I met for the first time not expecting to have such a spiritual, heartfelt connection, but this guy has coached me and he's helped me through through some challenging moments in my life as well. And I think one of the reasons why I'm connected to my heart today is also thanks to you, so thank you. And then we have Hanan here, and she's a powerhouse. You're gonna notice it today. So even though this is the soft society, she asked me, Avi, I'm not just gonna be soft today. I'm gonna be all of me. I'm not just a label. I'm gonna bring in my diva, my queen, my all energy.
Everything.
And I think that's why I love her already, even though we don't know each other too well, because she's unapologetic about who she is, and that's why she's here today. So everyone, please introduce yourself one by one. Oh, sorry. Last one actually. We received a very special gift a couple of days ago, which is Carlota here with us, right here. And she is a graphic harvester I hope I got that right. Alison, thanks for joining. She's a graphic harvester, and she actually offered to create illustrations and, well, I'm not gonna describe your work because I feel like I'm not gonna do justice to it, but she's volunteering here to do illustrations and graphic art for us today as we speak. So you're gonna notice different things happening, illustrations and things going on, and this is just something that came to my life and to this event 2 days ago, guys.
Wow.
So this is really the Soft Society. We're receiving gifts just like this one, and she's gonna introduce herself as well in a moment. So please, Jennifer, first you.
I feel a bit under pressure to have a really great vocal introduction, but thank you, Abby. I'm Jen. I work here as a mind-body nutrition coach in Barcelona. I do voiceover, but that's not really interesting for now. And I really work with people that want to deepen, heal, nourish their relationship to food and body. So it's really anti-diet, it's really anti-rules, it's much more about how do we get to be in right relationship to the wisdom that sits within ourselves, within our hearts, within our guts, and trusting the messages and the wisdom and the intelligence that is within us at all times. So it's very much counter to a lot of dietitians, nutritionists, but I work much more on the psychological, psycho-spiritual level to help people really fall in love with their relationship to life actually through the doorway of food. So I'll be talking about that a bit more today. Yeah, it's really nice to see lots of familiar faces in front of me. So.
Great voice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I find this really challenging actually to talk about myself in 30 seconds. I just have sent him like a really long paragraph, this is everything I am, and so much more. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, I'm the founder of 5 Minutes for Love. I'm really passionate about bringing the heart into everything that I do. So I have 15 years experience in CRM expertise, which is like customer retention strategies for luxury brand, luxury hotels. So I'm passionate about data, but like it's all about bringing data, bringing love, bringing emotional connection at the core of everything that I do. And it's all about personalization and curating and remembering really important things about people that I meet in the real life and then helping companies scale that. And then on my esoteric side of things, I create ceremonies or safe spaces for people to connect with their heart, connect with them. I love to create altars and really set up these beautiful places where people can just surrender. And I love to create these spaces for leaders, really high achievers, people that don't take time for themselves to really open up and reconnect with their essence, reconnect with their why, and then just align their life from that point onwards, and also connect with each other and realize that we're not alone in that journey.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your turn.
Thanks. Is it working? Yeah. So I'm still a bit flying from the meditation, but I'll put my brain on. I'm Sébastien. I'm really happy to be there and talk with you today. For the last 10 years, I've been building companies and coaching, teaching, really passionate about the human nature. And now I'm finally embracing a part of me that you don't know yet, by the way. That is the mad scientist, building my own model of the human nature and especially leaders. So I'm basing this model on spirituality, psychology and neuroscience, so everything based on research, to basically be able to teach and show what is a leader that is fully in its potential. I'm now building for Impact Agency with Christian that is there, developing other tools and methodology to help leaders expand their impact. So I'll be happy to talk about mostly the leadership today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, quite the introduction, Avi. So my name is Hanan, and just like Avi, I'm a fun mix. I'm Italian and Moroccan, and I'm a hypnotherapist, a holistic guide. I created a framework that blends different practices and modalities to help women, or actually anyone, although 90% of my clientele is women, to take control of their lives and thrive in their own power, like really embrace their uniqueness. And today we'll be talking a lot about yin and yang, and it's true. I love my yin, I love my yang, and on top of this, I'm also a sales director, and I lead a team, a big team, let's say in an environment that's quite fast, fast-paced, lots of pressure, and honestly, I thrive in it thanks to this, embracing the softness and really just embracing and flowing in life. I have been able to combine both and just embrace also my own uniqueness, becoming a whole person in a world where womanhood is complex, right? The concept of womanhood nowadays is quite complex. So I'm very happy to be here and share with you and be surrounded by these beautiful people. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. You can keep the mic one of them.
All right.
So thank you all for your introductions. Now I want to demystify a couple of concepts before we get started. Number one is this event is called the Soft Society. This is not a conversion event. I'm not converting all of you into your softness. I want you guys to soften into, this is an invitation for you to soften into who you truly are. Now if you're balanced between hard and soft, masculine and feminine, push and pull, play and whatever feels right, find your own unique sauce. This is not about just hard or just soft. This is just an invitation to be more of who you are. So I hope you find that today, and it's not about losing balance, it's about creating balance in your life. The other thing I want to demystify today is, even though this event said expert panel, expert circle on the event when you guys signed up, you guys are equal experts to us today, right? So this is an expert circle. I'm actually not going to call it a panel. And as much as I'm going to be asking them questions and they're going to be answering different things around leadership and business, I want you guys to interact with us, right? So for the next hour or so that we're going to be talking, ask questions, raise your hand. If there's anything that you guys want to even share from your own point of view, I know there's a lot of coaches and well-being professionals, people that are really experts in moving from mind to the body. So please bring your unique value here today and contribute with us. Does that feel good? Yeah? Awesome. Okay. So, actually, on that note, does anyone actually want to share anything or want to share why they're here today before we get started?
I just want to get my jacket.
Please do that. Does anyone want to say something or share why they're here today, or please?
Hey, it was just really short, but I'm here to see you, man. So I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Anyone else want to say anything or share why they're here today?
Who's next?
Why did you guys decide to, by the way, I think I don't even need a mic anymore. But thanks, man. Another thing I want to mention before we get started, all proceeds from your tickets today are going to support Lebanon, because you guys may be aware of what's going on with Lebanon. It's not a very soft situation right now for them, so we're going to bring some softness for them by contributing, and we're also going to contribute to homeless people here in Barcelona. So all the ticket money is going there, just for you all to know. Okay. So yeah, does anyone else want to share why they decided to click the button and buy a ticket and come here today? Do you want to share? Okay, thanks, love.
Well, so I'm here because George invited me. I think we work together, so I work on his company, and as well I have my side, which I work mainly with women, tantra and therapeutic theater. And I was very curious about your work and what you're offering, and as well because my best friend is from Lebanon, I wanted to. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
And to network too. So.
Yeah. Yes, which we're gonna do. We're gonna get back to networking in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just a little bit. Anyone else want to share? Or
I think someone over there, right, wanted to share?
Paola, did you? Sí, venga.
Please.
Bien.
Let's stop being funny.
Hi, my name is Paola, and I met Abby like a month ago, I think, at the airport. I was living in Las Palmas, where he's from, and I was coming here for 2 days to drop one of my baggage because I was coming back to Barcelona to live. I left the city really angry with the city, really depressed, really addicted to many things, including being a victim of life, and nothing. I just came to Barcelona to drop a bag, and I met him because I lost that bag, and he lost it as well.
The only two people that lost their bags, by the way, from that flight.
And one of my, I think, my virtues is to look for magic and find it. You know, like if you set up your brain to find something, it will definitely find it. And I one of my concept is called Click You, and inside this Click You concept is the serendipity, that is happy casualty, well, causalities, because I don't believe in casualties. So he's a serendipia, and every time I travel, I look for these serendipias, and they actually do happen. And I click with him. It's like I knew he was something like special for me. We saw the number 8 everywhere. We took the taxi together, and I knew I needed to be here and work with him and work together and create. And I knew he was going to bring amazing people, and I knew the people that was going to be here was going to be amazing. We're probably going to make really good connections and networking and soften our hearts for abundance.
Hell yes. Thank you. Anyone else?
Seems like no.
Is it coming back? Okay, thank you. Well, thank you everyone for your lovely words and for sharing a little bit about your intention and why you chose to come to support Lebanon, to trust the magic of life. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate your words. I'm actually going to share something really powerful. Well, at least I feel. I met Paola, and on the flight we actually hadn't met. We met when we landed and we both lost our suitcases. But I remember like just closing my eyes on the flight and receiving a vision. Like I just got like a urge inside. I was like, I want to meet someone that I can serve today. Like I just want to meet someone. I remember seeing a woman. I remember clearly seeing a woman. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Maybe in Barcelona in the next few days. And turns out that the only two people, this has never happened to me. I never lose my suitcase, by the way. First time that it ever happens, turns out to be as well a coach. And she's also in her path of launching her business, and we were sort of exchanging. So life gave me the opportunity to serve instantly, as soon as I asked for something. So this is what this talk today is about. It's about receiving, asking, magnetizing, no more force, no more hustle, no more push, okay? I mean, if that's who you are and you enjoy that, go for it. I'm not here to push you back, but I hope you guys walk away wanting to trust life a lot more from today. Okay, so I'm gonna get started by asking questions. The mic's on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
okay. So I'm gonna start by asking Camille, because just a few days ago we had a really nice conversation, which was, why do we even hustle in the first place? Like, why do we push in the first place, right? Like, what's going on there, and what are we avoiding? Like, what are we running away from by this constant distraction, the constant, let me push, let me gain more money, more success, more clients?
Long voice notes he said actually. I've got an idea, we should go on this. Good. Yeah, why do we hustle? Well, I think first we live in a society where it's all about achieving more, and we live in a very social media centric world, right? Where we're always seeing what everyone else is doing and making millions and helping you make your first 10,000 months and so on and so forth. And I think it's like that ambition as well. I think that desire to like achieve something, to have impact, and like I think all of us can probably relate to that. And I think there's also sometimes we keep busy as a way to escape our thoughts. And maybe actually I didn't ask before, like how many of you have meditated before tonight? I think it's in the majority. Yeah. So a lot of people out in the world don't meditate, and when you say like, why don't you meditate? I just don't have the time for it. And it's like they don't have the time, or they don't want to take the time, because actually the time is a construct, right? Of course the clock ticks and other people get moving, and so if you decide to pause, you also accept that other people might be still moving and accelerating in the meantime, so there's that FOMO as well to kind of address. But then it's also what happens when you pause? Like what happens when you're faced with your thoughts and suddenly maybe the fears and the doubts and the things that you haven't dealt with just come up to the surface, and it's an uncomfortable space to be in. So, of course, the idea is not to kind of force yourself to go through that alone. It's like the more, as well, I believe that everything, our reality is impacted by our thoughts, words, and actions. So you could be saying like, I've been doing all these things and it's just not getting there. Maybe there's a thought inside your head that's actually telling you that you're not going to get there. And maybe that's the exact thing that's blocking you from getting there, or blocking you from receiving what it is that you need to receive. And I think at the end of the day, just to kind of loop that, we're all looking for love. So, you know, maybe we're looking to build our empire so that we can welcome our queen or our king or, you know, whatever. And it's like, I do think that's the base intention behind everything. Is it love from a parent, for recognition, from our peers, from the group that we're in? Is it this sense of accomplishment for ourselves? And then I think softening sometimes is also like being like, wow, I'm already here. I'm already here, and this present life is what I dreamt about 5 years ago, 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago. Yeah. And I celebrate this. That's also softness.
I love that. Beautiful. I think one of the conversations we were having on WhatsApp was a lot about as well how work and, let's say, chasing for more, let's say the next client, the next project, the next big thing, is also an avoidance of sitting with our emotions, right? Like it's ignorance towards our emotions. I think I've worked with Timon, who's sitting with us right here, and he specializes, I'm going to try to say it in the best way possible, helping people get into their bodies and reconnect into their emotions, right? Like finding those emotions that we're abandoning, loneliness, sadness, and sitting with them instead of running away from them through fake love, dopamine, client, money, more. Look at me, look at my identity, look at how I look in the world. All of that is great, right? But it's all mind and ego driven. What we're not doing is creating space for here. Right? One of the posts that he put up recently on Instagram was, try to spend 1 hour without doing nothing. Like, literally doing nothing. When was the last time you guys did nothing for an hour? Without checking your phone, without, I don't know, without trying to clean something, without trying to make your bed, just sat, staring into space. When was the last time you guys did that for an hour? Anyone? You?
I was about to say today, but no, I was meditating, so I was doing something, right? That's true. It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, right? So being soft, actually we think being hard is easy, but actually being soft is the hard part, right? We've learned to trust our hardness more than we've learned to trust our softness. And I want to understand now what's going on a body level. Why are we struggling to trust? What are we doing to our body when we're lacking trust?
I feel like we're in such an age of information and knowledge and facts, data, more. Like I read somewhere that we're consuming the equivalent of like 400 newspapers a day or something compared to like our grandparents. You know, it's just so much noise and so much data, but my understanding of the intelligence of the body and how we can access that, it gets blocked the more we're convinced that the only resource we've got is our mind, or we're just so accustomed to operating out of our mind, which is great, but I don't think it's the only source of wisdom and intelligence. In fact, if you look at the elders, if you look at even the Japanese, you know, they will consult their gut before they make a business deal. They won't consult their broker, maybe they will as well, but they'll leave the room, they'll leave the boardroom if there's $1 billion deal on the table, and they will employ something called hara, which is basically an energetic in the body that says, do I trust my instincts? Is this the right deal? And I think there's something to learn from that, in that we have as many neurotransmitters in our gut as we do our brain. So it literally is as receptive and smart and wise as this computer. And I think what I see with clients and people I work with is that we're kind of living from the neck up, or at least definitely eating from the neck up. You know, the people I work with that are struggling with food, which is basically all of them on some level, it's the should. It's that rhetoric of I should be, I should eat this, I should have done that, I should be moving like this, I should be tracking that. And it's such a kind of piece of intelligence, a piece of information for me. It's like, you're operating out of your head when actually what's giving you life thoughts and what you're nourishing is your body. So why are we not letting our body have a seat at the table? There's so much information, it's trying to tell you things all the time. There's a conversation going on, it's just, I think we didn't really know how to listen that well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time people override what their body's signals are. I would say the symptom's the messenger, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing. Your symptoms are signs that something's out of whack, something's out of balance, something's out of alignment. So the question I ask is, you know, what's your body telling you that you don't want to hear? And what are the whispers and the yearnings and the longings of your body as well? Because your body wants things from you. Your body wants you to do things or not do things. Your body wants you to rest. Your body wants you to play. Your body wants you to take pleasure in things. And I think when we're operating out of the mind, we really do a number on ourselves. You know, the body is so smart, always talking to us. I just think we're not that brilliant at listening a lot of the time. And I know Camille's going to talk more about the brain of the heart, but, you know, tuning into the heart intelligence and the gut intelligence, for me, actually then serves this and allows you to bring all three into alignment. And when you bring those three systems of intelligence into alignment, you're going to be on fire. You know, that's where your kind of the superpower of heart-brain coherence really kicks in. When you've also got your gut wisdom playing out, then yeah, it's a good trifecta for better decision making, more fulfillment ultimately. But yeah, I think that'd be my answer.
I have a question for the audience.
Oh, go for it.
How many of you have their belly contracted right now? Yeah, like, you know, we hold our belly in, right, as a, you know, keep it active kind of thing. Yeah, that's also a really good sign, actually. Like, I remember when I was working full-time, my whole body was so crunched up, my shoulders were up like this most of the time, or like if I get, and then, or even now if I have this moment of like momentary fear coming through, like, what if this happens? And then my whole body just goes, and literally like all of my locks are activated. And I'm like, okay, what if I soften a little bit more, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, like something to observe.
That was great. And thank you for sharing, both of you. I'm actually going to ask a question as well to the audience. What has your body been telling you recently that you're not listening to? Has someone been receiving divine signs from their body that they're going, push more, hustle more, burn out? What have you been listening to from your body that you're not maybe fully paying attention to?
Yeah. I'm going to say two things regarding the being still without doing anything and my body giving me signs. Like a month ago, I went to a retreat in Wales, and the second day we did San Pedro, that is a cactus, and Rishana told me like, stay still, because I was walking, we couldn't talk, but I was like, you're very, very mental. We all are. I'm specifically very mental. And he said, stay still. And we couldn't smoke cigarettes with this ceremony because it's very contradictory to the cactus. And they said, like, if you want to smoke, let us know so we can work through it, right? So I wanted to smoke. And I called a lady shaman, but I felt like this energy of smoking was like for a man to guide me or whatever. So I talked to her about my vices and like how bad I've been to my body. And I started crying and crying and crying. And it's like I understood that I wanted to smoke because I didn't want to stay still. And just everything that I do, like every vice that I've had, it's just because I don't want to be with myself, right? I cried a lot, and finally when she left, I said, like, one of the words that came to me in the retreat, 2 words, surrender, and I just saw it, surrender, 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 and I was like that. And the other word was resist, but not to resist something, but to resist like the turbulence of anything so you can see the other side. Like, don't drop off the train before getting to the destination. These 2 words came, and when I talked to her and cried, I finally said, like, fuck. I was in the grass and started seeing the clouds and everything, and I just let myself go. And the other shaman came, and I said, like, it's time to work with you. When I surrendered, afterwards I asked him, like, did she, the other lady, told you that to come work with me? I said, like, no, I just received the information that I need to work with you. And it was the moment that I finally said, like, you know what, like, my body, I felt like I was so contracted and crying. I said, like, fuck it, and just let my tears. And he came and did with his tobacco and his hat and his harmonica and tapping, and I just cried and we left. And 1 month after, I stopped drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes. So I was listening, like, my body, like, after the retreat, I started smoking a lot. So it was like, I need to stop smoking. So the guilt made me self-sabotage, and I started smoking and smoking and smoking. I was like, fuck, I want to quit, but why am I smoking more? I got very sick, like I couldn't breathe, and had like, and that day I decided that I was gonna stop, and this is like my 30th day without smoking. In 17 years, I have never stopped. And marijuana as well, and alcohol, I've never stopped, and it's like, I don't know, the 10th day, and it's amazing. My body was telling me that to achieve whatever I want to achieve, I need to control my mind and heal. And that's one of the things. I'm resisting the pain of not smoking and not drinking and not doing any other vices that I had. I had many. And in my body I have some, like, here eczema or I don't know what, and here also. Detox, and stress or whatever I'm eating also. So my body's telling me through this that there's something I'm taking care of, or I'm not taking care of, or something is telling me, obviously, like, if my body shows something, it's because of something, So definitely my body's
and
telling me.
trusting that as well, right?
Yeah.
Trusting that after shock or after, it's your body knows what it's doing.
So I was trying to quit sugar and gluten and corn and everything at the same time, all of it, and I just started catering again. So it's like, it's really challenging. Not only to stop eating sugar, but now I'm cooking. So I don't know, I don't think it's time to do all this stuff at the same time, but obviously I'm doing my best to eat less sugar and stuff. But I was like, my body's telling me, like, to quit all the vices and be still. Like, not eat sugar or to eat anything, or like try to heal my body. But I think it's too much. One vice at a time, that's what I said. So, yeah, my body's telling me a lot of stuff.
Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Okay. Did you want to say anything else? All right. So thanks for everyone being honest and sharing. Does anyone else want to share what they're ignoring, or yeah? Okay. Actually, would have been easier to. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Rosie, and I guess I want to share because it was my first experience of it. Was really this year was. I think not realizing that I was ignoring things. So I had a job, I tried to change it, I knew I hated my old job, I tried to change it and I was like, okay, this is manageable, I can deal with this. But I knew inside I was misaligned, I knew that I was, and the more pressure that came, the more I was feeling this anxiety but trying to find, oh, it's okay, I'm going to meditate through this, or I'm going to try and change it, it's going to come, I'm going to find another way through, it's okay. And I was ignoring the impact. I was having really severe dreams. I have really bad dreams when I live things out in a very vivid way, like recurring nightmares and things. So this was happening, so I knew my body was trying to talk to me, and I was kind of sort of listening, but not really doing the hard thing of really hearing what it was saying and trying to just kind of ease things. And it was, like you said, the sort of serendipity of the timing was, for the first time in however many years, I spent a week away with my parents and my brother, and in like February, and it was like, I was meant to be working a couple of days remotely, but then I got all these calls and I had to work really suddenly and I didn't expect to, and it was, everything came to a head. And it was like my body just rejected it. It was like I got a super intense like heartburn, but to like a way where I was like physically incapacitated, you know, I was like keeled over the toilet, I couldn't breathe from the pain of it. And it was like my parents had gone out for the day because of the day I was working, and then they came back and they found me in this like state where like, they were like, what is happening to you? Like what's, because I'd been saying to them, you know, I think I want to change, but I think I can't do this like standard career, I don't think it's for me, and they've been saying, you know, don't quit again without something lined up, don't quit. And then I think for me, I needed to see how much it physically was impacting me, but also I think I needed my parents to see it too. So I think it waited until I was at my worst moment, and my mom like, she came in and she was just like rubbing my back, and obviously because I was thinking, it can't be something I've eaten, what is it? And obviously it was stressed. But I was like, okay, I'll take a rest, and then I got a call from my boss, and it came back again really strong, and I was just in tears, and my mom was like, just rubbing my back. And as she was rubbing my back, it was easing and easing and easing. And I was like, okay, so this is, the more I relaxed, the less of a pain. And it took a long time for the actual physical pain to go, but I then it was a real wake-up call, you know, and then I looked at my parents and, you know, my dad has a history of his whole life of depression, and I look at him, he's got autoimmune disease, he's got rheumatoid arthritis, and he's really hunched over. And in that moment I realised as my mum was rubbing my back that my first instinct had been, and they both have like stomach ulcers and all these things, and I realised my body was doing the same. It was getting this really painful gastric reflux and the tightening of my shoulders, and it was all just, I was tensing up from the inside, and it was crazy seeing my body having this response before I was conscious of what it was. And just really quick, sorry now, but when the reason I went there actually was, I went the Camille de Santiago recently, and while I was walking I was hoping for these big revelations and sparks of like, wow, this is what I need to do in my life. But actually in the last bit I turned to some people I've met and I was like, maybe there is no big revelation, maybe the truth is just that I've softened, like I'm softer than I was before, and everything is just a little bit softer. And like it's that softness that I want to hold and I want to keep in my life. And so coming back, I was going into this like panic state again last week, and then I saw you post on it saying the soft society, and I was like, okay, got to step into the softness. Yeah, and like, how do I go?
Thank you so much for sharing. It reminds me of the purpose behind softening in the first place, right? Softening, like Camille said earlier today in the meditation, is about returning back to love, which is where your gut is, the first thing that was connected to creation, your mother, the womb, which is also where your heart is. So it's, for me, well, I'm not going to share much about this, but I think what I do want to say is that I worked with Sébastien last year, somewhere around last year. And when I came to work with him, I didn't realize, but I was a lot in my restless energy. I was in this sort of like, gotta get stuff done. I have these goals to get to. I want to be this person, and I want to next thing. And he really helped me understand why I was running in the first place and which part of me was running, right? And I think a lot of us are running on our day-to-day. We're running from ourselves, we're running from our emotions, we're running from our body, we're running from the needs from our inner child, our adult self, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to let you share. Why are we running? And how can we still trust that if we're not running, we're going to get to those things that we desire?
Interesting. The first thing I would like to share is that what I feel from the testimonials and people sharing is that there is a kind of something negative that we put behind running or the hustle. And the first thing I always say in coaching is, why is it a problem? Because if something is happening in your life, if you're doing something, there is, Camille, you said it, a positive intention behind. So why judge it immediately and say, yeah, I'm not happy with my life because I'm running, I'm hustling, I'm hard on myself. So I like to say there is the happy hustle, and there is the forcing hustle. I've seen it a lot in the startup world. They are forcing, but both you can have both sides. That on one side there's your heart, your soul that wants to build something, that is passionate about a topic, that wants to create, that wants to be innovative. And this is a kind of hustle. You're working a lot, you're doing a lot. So it could be seen as positive, and then it will be judged as, oh wow, you're passionate. And then when you're forcing, then it becomes something else. So then it's probably that you're more into the ego. It comes from some fears. There are many reasons behind why we hustle. We talked about some on a neuroscience level. First, with Jennifer, that talked about the information that is like really filling our mind. There are many reasons why our body is in a stress level, high stress level, and we react to that. Then there are psychological reasons with limiting beliefs. Camille, you talked about them. What do we think in our mind? If we think I'm worthy of love if I succeed, or I'm a worthy person, or I'm a good person only if, all the ifs we put in our lives, these are the limiting beliefs, and this is what we can work with a therapist, with a coach. But it's again another area. And then there's, for me, the growth is kind of a game. I like to see it like this. It's not, because the mistake we could be doing is to be hard on our hardness. To say I'm hustling and I should not be hustling. So I will stop hustling. I will meditate every day, and I will let go, force myself to let go and to be soft. And it's again the ego, the control, the fear that is like coming back and bringing back more hardness. And I love the opposite, that is more playful, more joyful. That is, how do I play with this, seeing it as a movement? It's a positive movement initially. There is your heart, your brain, your body that wants something, so it initiates with energy something. And then there's your ego that comes on the side and says, I have my agenda, can we push more? But I think the wise answer to that is to have first awareness, to understand all the parts that are motivating this behavior, and then first thing really to embrace it. To not be fighting it, to not say, oh, again, I fell into this bad behavior, into this pattern, but to really embrace it. I used to have burnouts every 10 days or every 2 weeks. Real burnouts where I couldn't work for 1 day or for 2 days. I was in my bed, and I used to have that every 10 days. I don't know if you can imagine. And the solution, and for a long time, was like, I should not be having these burnouts. I should completely get free and fly. And there was one moment I was like, hey, that's who I am. I had a bad burnout when I was younger, when I was like 18. So it has a consequence, it has something in my psyche that is still there. And I can just embrace and learn and raise the level of awareness. To be like, oh, I met this person, or oh, I was in this environment that decreased my level of energy and that raised my level of anxiety. So I think the more you bring awareness, the more you will understand, and then you reach another level that is intelligence, that you start mapping out how you function. And you're like, okay, my ego is doing this, and it's fine, it's doing its job. My body, my heart, my subconscious, my soul is trying to do this, it's also fine. And then you can reach the last level that I love, and that you love also, it's creativity. It's how do you play with this? You're basically a machine, super intelligent, super wise, also heart-driven, also ego-driven, like, because we're human. But how do you play with this? How do you tweak some things, being realistic, that you won't change suddenly from 1 week to another week, but what are like the 1% change you can do again and again and again. Again with softness, with, I think, some playful and joyful energy. I have no idea if this answered the question, but that's what I wanted to share, so I did that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I want to remind everyone of something that he actually told me last year. So last year, when I was in my restless energy, he actually invited me to surrender, right? And I think that's an invitation that he did through asking me questions, and I got to a point where I was like, I'm just done pushing. I think my body's really saying, stop, surrender, lean back. And I remember coming to him the session after, and I'm like, I'm really trying to surrender. I'm really trying to let go. Why is it not working? Like, why am I not getting things? Like, why are things not moving in my business? I'm surrendering, dude. Like, this should be working. And I remember he said something really powerful to me, which was, can you let go of the letting go process? And that's just stuck with me like a tattoo in my heart till today, which is like, you're surrendering. Surrendering means detachment, presence, no outcome. No, I'm doing it I'm doing it if, I'm doing it because I want something. Surrender is deep falling into trust. And when you fall deeply into trust, a lot of us are scared of the unknown. Mm-hmm. It's what we're most scared of. We're scared of being alone in that unknown as well, which is why we hire support, etc., etc. But in that unknown as well is the gifts, as we all know. But I actually want to talk about environment. I think you mentioned like the environment also affect you and can also positively affect you, can negatively affect you, can shape you as a person. And I think Hanan is someone that has two very different environments in her life. She has the corporate environment, where she has to step into her boss woman leadership energy, or maybe I'm wrong here. And then she also is a holistic guide and hypnotherapist. So how have you found balance there? Like, how have you found your unique way of playing, being creative, dancing with those two versions, or maybe they're one? Help me understand.
Sure. Very, very interesting question. So I think by embracing the flow, which sounds very easy to say, but it means that basically I need to know who I am, and once I know who I am and I'm connected to who I am, and I have enough self-love, I can embrace what comes and I can keep that integrity in whichever environment I'm in. I'm a strong believer that we create our own environment. There's circumstance, and then there's creating your own environment. The circumstance is whatever circumstance you're put into. And in that circumstance, it's up to you to implement certain things. It can be boundaries, it can be communication, it can be anything, but it has to come from a deep connection and self-knowledge. That's the starting point. Then you can create your environment. So a lot of the work that I do with my clients, and I hear, oh, but they just made me do it, or it's hard, like, I'm so stressed, because I mainly work with, let's say, women, but a lot of stress and anxiety coming up. It made me anxious. Well, it's a choice. I can choose to be anxious, or I can create my environment within that circumstance. And obviously, sometimes it's hard to sustain it long term, but then it's a choice. Do I want to keep staying in that circumstance? I'm also talking from experience, and there's a vulnerable share coming now, because I grew up in a very harsh circumstance. Like, I grew up in extreme poverty. I lost my family when I was very, very young, and I lost my health when I was 22. I was bed-bound, so I really love the stories that Paula and, your name? Yeah, nice to meet you, shared, and as well as others. I know how it feels to be disconnected. I know how it feels to be put in a circumstance that's very hard, and how do you practice softness there? How do you keep a balance? Embracing the circumstance and creating your environment there, knowing who you are and really tapping into your inner resources, because at the end of the day, anything can happen around you, but you decide what happens inside of you, within you. And by tapping into that inner power, and that's why I called my business Inner Glow Queens, whatever, Queen. Because that inner power is truly, it's truly untouchable. Like, nobody can take it away from you. And what is that inner power? Well, it's your energy. It's your love. We talk a lot about love. It's how you choose to respond to things. So that's how I think that's how I keep the balance, and that's how I help also the lovely women and men that I work with create a beautiful life and become magnetic. Suddenly things start happening around them. People start coming. Why? Because they changed and they tapped into that inner resource, that inner glow. And so they created their environment within the circumstance. And then the circumstance starts changing. So that's how I would answer that question. The other part, is the balance between feminine and masculine energy, which is something that I'm a first believer in because I've just witnessed so many transformations. Jen shared that her second brain is the gut, or you know, yeah, you mentioned something about, you know, trusting your gut. For me, is really going deep within what it is, the blueprint of being masculine or feminine, and that's something that you have to decide and connect into it. And before signing a deal or before doing anything, I consult with that sensual energy, which is my pussy, for example. If I was a man, it would be, the male counterpart. And you guys maybe don't know, but there's an energy meridian that connects our sexual energy to our heart and then to our crown chakra, which is divinely connected. I don't know, at least in my belief system, that we are connected to a higher source. And how beautiful that we can tap into that inner power through there. We have that, we have the gut, we have the heart. So I understand that there's a lot of societal conditioning telling us that we are victims of our environment, maybe, or that we have to look outside. But I do believe that finding that balance, and how I do it in my life with my two lives and with my clients, is to really tap into those resources. We have so many, and I only provide the tools. As Avi mentioned, we're no experts, although our ego loves to be called expert. I'm an expert, you know, but but I only provide the tools, and wow, the transformations are just amazing. Engagement under 1 year. One of my clients going from a lawyer to singer, and she's on TV. Me personally manifesting my dream relationship in 1 day, and that's a story time. You can approach me later, I can share about it, and so on. But yeah, for the sake of time, let's keep it going.
Thank you. I'm actually
I hope I answered that question.
Let you keep the mic for just a second, and then
all right.
I want to ask you one more thing. I think I also want to talk today about energy, right? And energy, and how we bring things towards us, how we take away things from us, right? How we're repelling things as well, especially if we want them too much. That's sort of desperation energy. But since we were talking about masculine and feminine, I think it's also important to talk about those energies, right? We all know a lot about masculine and feminine. It's a conversation we are all having. Hope you're okay. So I want to share something as well, a little bit vulnerable. As a lot of you know, I am gay, but gay is also just a label. Whoever wants to define it that way. I might be into women tomorrow, so I'm not confining myself to anything right now. I'm just saying. But something that I rejected, which was probably also societal and conditional, was that my feminine energy is probably more dominant than my masculine, right? And I think a lot of the work that I'm doing with people in their businesses and in helping them build their brands and their success journeys, right, monetary or client or personal success journeys, is to really understand your energy, right? Like maybe you are a man, but you haven't come to terms with the fact that sometimes you do have more feminine energy than you have masculine. Like a lot of us reject that concept as well. Or maybe you're a woman and you reject the fact that maybe your masculine is a bit more dominant than your feminine. I think it's very important to come to terms with who you truly are, because that's what makes you magnetic. This event is about softening, again, I'm reminding, softening into who you are, not who you think you need to be, not who you think the world needs you to be. The more I've tried to be masculine, the more I've tried to push, the more I've actually activated my wounded masculine as a rejection to my feminine energy. I've rejected my feminine energy for such a long time, and every single time I lean back, surrender, and I fall, and I enter my feminine, things start coming. Out of nowhere, things will start coming. A company workshop will start coming out of nowhere. This event will start coming out of like divine inspiration. I'll start meeting people at the airport that I'm like, wait, what? Just feels like the right. I'll go into a hike and my really surrendered soft energy, and I'll meet this beautiful soul. So this is not for you to be more feminine or be more masculine. Just accept and start to learn who you are and sit into that. Sit into the seat of awareness of who you are and own it fully. Right? A lot of the times we spend a lot of time rejecting ourselves, and I think softening is about accepting you, because that's the real abundance. That's where the money and that's where the success and everything comes from.
Can I suggest
Yeah.
maybe just a little practice for them, because I really resonate with what you said, a lot of shoulds. I should do this, I shouldn't do this, I should be doing that, or so just for one day, catch yourself every time you're saying I should, or you should, which is, you know, for those of us who love to give unsolicited advice, it's really useful. You'll be surprised about how many times we are into that unaccepting energy, because that's what we're doing. We're rejecting ourselves when we're shoulding. You should be working. Oh, well, maybe I need to rest, right? Give me a break, you know? Anyway.
Thank you.
You have a question for me, right?
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I actually wanted to ask about masculine and feminine energies. Like, how do you discover more of who you are in that sense as well?
Sure. So that's a very interesting question, because
sorry, I wanted to. And how to use it?
How to use it? How to deploy it in life?
First, to understand your energy, and then how can you use it in business, in life?
Yeah. So as you said, Avi, there's a lot of talk about masculine and feminine, so we're all confused. Let's just say it, okay? We're all confused. We're seeing, American coaches on Instagram telling us, be feminine. At least I have seen a lot of things. I don't know if it's my algorithm. How to be feminine. Okay. Wear high heels and a lip gloss or whatever. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go do that. And then how to be feminine. Be a girl boss. Be firm. Do this and that, grind, hustle. You don't need no man, girl. Okay, well, let me go do that for a sec. Okay, I'm gonna be back, And then how to find a masculine man. What is a masculine man? He provides for you 6 figures, 6-pack, 6 whatever. I'm like, okay, let me 1 second, I'm coming. I'm gonna do this. And then, no, divine masculine, he needs to hold space for you and cook cakes, bake cakes for you. I'm like, all right, well, we're very confused, right? So feminine and masculine energies are exactly what the name says, right? It's an energy. And energy is, as Einstein says, energy is made of your feelings, your thoughts, and the status of your body. So those 3 aspects mark your energy. Your energy vibrates at a certain frequency. Anything else that vibrates at that frequency will be attracted to you. That's a universal law. I don't know if you guys are into that. So that's energy in general. Now the masculine and feminine energy, they're based on the Chinese yin and yang. And I don't want to get all teacher professor on you guys right now, but we need a little bit of context. And those are Chinese terms that define dualism. We live in a dualistic reality, right? Like night, day, water, fire, etc. So those yin and yang, when it comes to humans, we are divided into feminine and masculine energies. They are not genders or sexual identities. They're energies that we can tap into, and they're at our own fingertips. We can tap into them at any time. How to understand if you are more a feminine energy being or a masculine energy being is very simple. It's listen to what feels best. What do you resonate with more when you hear what yin is? Yin, which by the way is the dark part of the yin and yang symbol, if you can picture it right now. It's more nurturing, protective, creative, fluid, slow-moving. It's water element, it's nature. Or yang, more pushing forward, penetrating. When you hear men talk, at least when I hear them talk in business, they're like, I want to go all in. Yes, they want to penetrate life. Like it's fun because you can really start picking up on those energies around you in the world. Or a woman would say, at least me, sometimes I also say it personally, I need to be with myself. So feminine energy is retreating, but lots of boundaries, very selective. So just research, a quick Google search will help you really understand what is yin and yang, and then just intuitively you have so much guidance. Remember, like the gut, the sexual center, your heart, your crown chakra, all of those things, if they resonate towards one part, just follow that and play with it. There's no right or wrong. Once we figure that out, more or less, then how do you deploy them in your favor? Well, you deploy them in your favor by really surrendering. And it's hard to grasp sometimes as a concept to surrender, but just really follow what feels good. So how I keep my balance is when I have to make a decision, it can be as easy as going to the gym, because I love planning. That's maybe my yang energy. I don't know. I don't like labels that much. Does it feel good to go to the gym today? No, it doesn't. Okay, what feels good right now? So that's how you can deploy them. And the other thing, which is super important, and it's a very easy sentence to say, but it's work. It's to have emotional regulation, a healthy body, and a positive mental environment. Now, easy, right? So that's what I work with my clients on as well. But something that you can take home with you is to, we've all heard affirmations. We all should be practicing affirmations, right? Affirmation, affirmation, affirmation. Well, sometimes you forget, right? Like to practice affirmations. So I would say to be with yourself. We have a hard time just sitting down and doing nothing and being with ourselves. Just sit down with yourself. Don't look at the phone. Put it on airplane mode. Do what you gotta do. And practice connection with your sensuality. So I don't know, it's maybe, am I being recorded, Avi, here? Okay. Okay, well, just practice being with yourself and tap into your sexual energy. So it can be self-pleasuring, for example. That's a great way to tap into your masculine and feminine energy. But don't do it with the objective to reach an orgasm. Just do it to be with yourself. You will realize that you have a lot of flowing energy. And when you're doing that, just breathe and feel it moving through your body. Really feel it moving. And let me know how it goes. I have a lot of messages, by the way. Hey, Hanan, I tried it yesterday. I felt it in my right ear. It's crazy when I wasn't focusing on having an orgasm. I really could connect with myself. And the following day, I just, I don't know, like at the gas station, somebody gave me a gift or something. Well, yeah, that's like the easiest way to manifest whatever you want. But it's also, it's not the end goal. The end goal is to deploy that energy to be more connected to yourself, as we said before, so that you can tap into those beautiful inner resources that you have, and just create a life you love, a job that you love, or a career, a partner, loving friends. All of those things are really, really easy to manifest. The work that I do has the ultimate objective of spiritual enlightenment, so being as close to God as I can. But yeah, while we are back to the question, while we are on this physical plane, deploying those feminine energy or masculine energy to make life easy. Apart from that exercise, you can also ask yourself, how can I make life easy for myself? Every once in a while, just stop and ask, how can I make it easy for myself? Is this making it easy for me? No. Is waiting on somebody's text making me feel calm, or am I hyper anxious right now? Okay, well, I'll step away from it. And for men, it's really to turn off the societal conditioning, the red pill content, like Andrew Tate, for example. That would be a great starting point. And just, just really, what does it mean for you to be a man? What does it mean for you? Because that's one of the most attractive things about a divine masculine man, is that he can make his own decisions. He's embodied. He's an embodied person, so that he can protect, which is the yin part of the yang. But okay, I'll leave it here. Okay.
Thank you. So I'm just going to pass the mic to Jennifer. I don't know if I even need the mic again, but anyways. So I actually want to take a little pause for a moment, and I want to ask if anyone wants to ask us something, or if anyone wants to share something based on what you're receiving so far. Okay, those are a few hands that are up. Please.
I don't need a mic, thank you.
Go for it.
So I just want to make a comment on that, just as a general comment, but it's a very good one. Has anybody read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Chapter 13.
I don't really.
Very specific, but okay.
Sharif came to my book club, by the way.
So here's a serendipitous moment. We met at her book club.
Yeah, he's like a book master, but.
So I'll bottom line it. The sacral chakra, which is both the creative force and the sexual force, is the same energy.
True.
And men who know don't waste that energy.
Yes.
They transmute that energy. So what Hanan is really trying to say is that if you're able to become in command of that lustful energy, you can transmute it and it can turn into your goals and dreams, because the very energy that it takes to create a life.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you for having the courage to bring that up, because I think a lot of people are practicing unconscious sexuality.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's very easy to understand when you look at it from the way of, when you're not birthing babies, you can be birthing ideas, businesses, love, doing charity work for others. So it's about what are you birthing, what are you creating with your sexual energy, but also it's really a powerhouse that you can tap into for anything. Manifestation, spiritual enlightenment. You'd be surprised how sex and God are very close, actually. Or to decondition, exactly. To decondition ourselves from the societal programming that tries to keep us stuck into this rat race that we're clearly not into as soft, right? Soft society.
What's fascinating is if you're working from the bottom chakra, it comes from that point of more, I must all the time. Then if you're working from the top, it comes about how you can give service, how you can be loving, how you can co-create.
It's also really affiliated with this chakra, the sacral and the fifth, symbiotic, the expression.
Speak your truth.
The creative expression. Yeah.
And the anatomy is the same actually.
Yeah.
The vocal cords and the vulva.
So they often say if there's a sexual blockage, there's an expressive blockage as well.
Lovely.
I think both Chris and Marcela wanted to say something, but I'm gonna let, if that's okay, I'm gonna let her go first. Go for it.
Yeah, so that's why I love to work with Tantra, which is something that I am tapping in more and more, because normally, like in society in general, we are all educated by porn, right? Where like women are objects for men's pleasure, but there is so much potentiality in treating the exchange of sexual energy as something sacred, which is why it's so beautiful as well to find a divine partner to share this with. But again, before trying to find someone, because you know we live in a world that is like dating apps and everything is so fast and it's so difficult sometimes to manifest that.
Yeah.
The first divine partnership we have to find is within ourselves. So I find my divine feminine and I find my divine masculine, right?
Yes.
And for example, now I am living a very, I think is one of the hardest moments of my life where I thought I found this divine partnership, and for some reason or for some lesson that I still have to integrate, this person is out of my reality. So I'm like doing the work to come back to myself again and align more with that. So I'm living all the lessons from what is a heartbreak again, and like, and it's difficult. And then like, what can I birth with that energy? So I think finally today I'm reaching a point in which I can almost say like, thank you for breaking my heart, but I don't want to say that, like, I don't want to attract more of that. It's like, so today I was spontaneously in my house with two people that are like sleeping there, and one of them like has a camera. And suddenly we started doing a photo shoot where I took out my flamenca and I don't know, like, things like that. And then, like tap into this creative energy, which is sexual energy, can also give us the power back to see that we are the creator of our lives.
Yes.
You are talking, and I was reminding of Viktor Frankl. I don't know if you know his book, like Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah.
And again, like these authors, I have been working as well with which is one of Tantra author, and you were also talking about Tao a lot, which there is
yes. yeah, I hope the information is not overwhelming because I'm talking about a lot of things, but
Yeah. But it's all correlated. And
yes.
I'm happy that, you know, all the chakras are getting aligned now. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy about it. It's just-
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
You know, the best dating app is your inner power, right? So whatever, those dating apps. Let's go into the real juice, you know?
I just wanted to add something quickly around the research around masculine and feminine. There's what we call the archetype. Don't want to complicate it, but if you want to research that, that also helps us embody a little bit more what archetype we're more aligned with. Of course, we sometimes have all of them. On the relationship side of things as well, we tend to attract the mirror of our inner. So like I'm a woman, I tend to attract the mirror of my inner masculine. So when we need to work on a pattern, it's, as you said, it's like working on a pattern within ourselves. So it's like healing the masculine within ourselves if we need to meet better men or better women, healing the feminine or whatever. Yeah. So that's all.
Perfect. Thank you. Chris, do you want to share something?
Yeah. Well, from what you were just taught, like, your name was?
It still is.
So sassy, I'll show you.
Like I shot the sheriff?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's very much, you know, I've been on this project for, 10 years now, and, you know, moving to a country where I didn't know the language. I mean, I've got French and Italian and English, but, you know, Spanish was not one of them. And also coming from experience of, you know, as a fourth generation entrepreneur, and the male energy has been go, go, go. Like they've been through a lot. You know, they were in Africa during, you know, first in Congo, in the genocide there, then again in Rwanda. So they've had to push to be able to overcome all of these, you know, obstacles that have been put in front of them to, you know, restart. You know, they've restarted like 3 or 4 times from, you know, having a lot to nothing. And I use a lot of that energy to start this project. And I think I connect very much with, you know, the burnout, like burning out like for every 2.5 months and just being in bed for like a month and a half, hardcore thinking that I wasn't worthy. Again, not being Catalan, not speaking Spanish was just brutal here, even though I can understand everything. But then the real switch was actually a breakup with my business partner and ex, which was very codependent. Great, because I learned a lot and I do not regret anything. It was great, out of something so toxic, something so beautiful was able to grow. But right after we broke up, I broke my scapula. And I was mentioning to a few people that through that healing, I connected with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. And I've been reading his books for, you know, I've been in the health and fitness world for, you know, going on 16 years now, in various as a nutritionist and personal trainer for pros and semi-pro athletes. But never having having the tools, but never knowing how to apply them in my real life, right? And the doctors were like, right, you're going to have your mobility, your strength, and your flexibility like you did before. And I was like, right, that's it. I'm not letting anyone who doesn't know me tell me what I'm going to do. So I connected with meditating with light. And through my experiences, I'm a very vocal person, so I started chanting. And then through the chanting, I really realized where my energy was coming from, and how, like, throughout all the speeches and the talks here, is that where I really started to create from a place of self-love and light, and really manifest the deserving clients, because we're, you know, Michelin-star restaurants, 5-star hotels, high-end retreats, working with, you know, influencers from 5 to 1.5 million on Instagram via word of mouth, you know. But where I really connected was creating from the sacral and the Kundalini energy, because after the chanting, you know, I do lion's breath and then really use that energy and like totally lose control, like vibrating, and then it was literally, you know, and I'm just putting all this 2 and 2 together now, is that through that energy, like within a month and a half, that's when we got our first Michelin-star restaurant, and then a month and a half within like a week of that, we got our first 5-star hotel. But it was only when I fully embraced my deserving, like me deserving of being in there, and I was fighting all the time. It was male, I was just going, I was pushing, no matter, you know, I think it was about the ego as well, like, oh, I need to get into these places. But yeah, one of these, like now it's just, yeah, the fact that I've like always put this 2 and 2 together now has just kind of been wow. It's super crazy to see how, you know, we have all these energies together, and yet we are, you know, we're a living being with these incredible chakras that, you know, if we really concentrate and align them and resonate with each individual one, we can create a reality that just blows your mind.
Avi, can I share something? Christian is your name?
Chris.
Chris, before our break, you just you stumbled upon like a universal secret, which is, you know, when you tap into that energy, then you go out there and you create, right? So an exercise for you guys that is going to change your life if you keep it up, you know, and you trust. When you self-pleasure, don't get to what is supposed to be the end goal, as I mentioned before, and go create something. Write a poem, go for a walk, call somebody, brainstorm an idea. That is literally transmuting that creation energy into a project or into something that you're creating, or go help somebody, you know? So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, super inspiring, and I think that's exactly why this is an expert circle, because everyone has so much to provide here. Everyone's life journey is such a mirror for even us sitting here. Like, these are just chairs, by the way. Like, we're completely equal to you guys, and I think that's the most powerful part of this conversation. I actually want to steer the conversation into business, if that's okay. Because we have the space for another hour. I want to give us some time to network and mingle and do all that fun stuff after. So I'm going to try to keep it for another 15-20 minutes. I think we all have big dreams, right? Which is why we're here. We're here in Barcelona creating our entrepreneurial dreams. We're either traveling or we're moving out. We're going to new places, like Ibanez is doing, to explore what it is that we want to do, who it is that we want to become, how it is that we want to make an impact in the world. And I think we all have dreams and goals that we want to get to, but sometimes it can be very challenging for the mind to understand, how am I going to get there by being soft? How am I going to get there by leaning back and not tapping into this push energy? And I think, if it's okay with you, I want to ask Sébastien this, because there's two ways that you helped me see last year when you were coaching me, which was, you're going to get to the same goal in 2 different states. But before I can share more, I want you to answer this. How do entrepreneurs and leaders and company owners that you coach as well reach their goals? By trusting.
By trusting what?
By trusting their softness, by trusting their body, by not doing it that forceful way, for example.
Okay. Again, I'll be disappointing because I don't have one answer for all of you that are here. This was your answer for your coaching because you were unbalanced in one direction. And I think that's what we can all take a moment to think of now, to say, where might I be a bit unbalanced and a bit on one side? And it's not necessarily the hard side. Or if it is, maybe it's good for now because you need to, because it's a special moment in your life, and it's good that you're hard and that you're pushing, but then it's the question of how long do you want to be pushing? How long do you want to be hard? Or is it okay? Is it aligned? So my answer is really, what is the balance you're really aiming at? Because life will never be a perfect balance between masculine and feminine, between soft, hard. It just is, and it's constant. Like I do slack line. I don't know if you know, tie a rope between 2 trees and you walk on it. You're never balanced. You're just constantly falling, but you manage to stay on track. So that's the picture. That would be my answer. It's not there to hear it, but that's the metaphor I would love for you to plant in your head. Not to see like one side is wrong, the other side is right, or I should go there, because then again, it's more hardness, or I don't really like actually all the labels. We just are. I don't even think we have a dominant energy. I don't think we have more masculine or more feminine. We have one that is more expressed. It doesn't mean that it's who we are. Then there is one that is wounded, that we can heal most of the time. But deeply, I think we're just human, balanced, and trying to navigate life. So I would invite you right now to think what's the one thing you either want to integrate, because we've been hearing wonderful stories and transformations. So what's the one thing you would like to take with you and really integrate, or start doing, or embrace that you do that you don't really like, but you say, that's okay, for now, that's who I am. And maybe with this softness, you will start actually like slowly switching it and transforming. So I'll let you some seconds, and it also will enable me to wait for Ivy to come back.
I can add
Just to think.
how I
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah?
Jen, did you want to share?
No, I was just going to add to that because it makes
Yeah.
me think of when people are resisting a behaviour that they don't kind of they don't want to contain, or they don't want to maintain when it comes to eating, when it comes to struggling with a certain habit or an ingrained belief system. What I see is that, you know, kind of a classic is like, how on earth do you think that you can hate yourself into a body you love? You know, so it's this real paradox of, if you want to really get where you want to go with anything, but certainly with my clients, it's really about integrating and accepting exactly where you are. So starting from that point of really owning and honouring where you are being the baseline for any actual lasting change that can take place. So, you know, like somebody said earlier, you know, you're resisting the resistance, or you're beating yourself up for the resistance. It's like a double whammy of negative energy that, of course, is going to keep people stuck and spinning their wheels, but if you can be in that soft acceptance of where you are, the chances are you're going to get where you want to go much quicker. Does that make sense?
I really resonate with that as well, and it's kind of like the hardest part, not to step into that softness. I wanted to share something inspired by what you shared, Sébastien, on how I signed my 3 biggest clients last year and 2 of my biggest multi-million-dollar contracts for my corporate career. And it was through going into softness, doing it through softness. How? Through the subconscious mind, which Joe Dispenza, by the way, talks a lot about. So it's contradictory because you think you need to be calling people like, hit that phone, you know, sell, sell, sell. But actually it's a person lying down or sitting down and really tapping into their consciousness, right? And visualizing their success and then see it happen around them. How soft is that? That by being into your subconscious mind, you can actually manifest those. For me, it was 3 clients and 2 multi-million-dollar contracts. For you, it might be your startup blooming or whatever other goal you have. And I think that the feminine energy and masculine energy thing we talked about mixed with subconscious mind is one of the softest ways to really thrive in your business, because first of all, I love doing things that don't depend on external world, right? Like those are things that you can do for free. You can tap into your subconscious mind anytime. There's a whole bunch of meditations on YouTube, for example, to do that. And it's very empowering. It's very empowering and it's very soft. So it doesn't require you to burn out, because burnout really takes you away from the beauty of who you are.
Thank you. I'm actually gonna ask you a question now, so it's perfect that you're holding the mic. I think business and life is not just about building, but it's also about understanding your body and understanding to trust it. And I think we have an expert here, or at least I would like to say, in nutrition, food, and understanding what we put into our body and how that can help us build what we desire, build what we want to impact with, build what we want to create in this world. So I want you to give us your 2 cents on that. I think, we have other experts here around food as well, but please, Jen.
Well, I'm definitely not going to tell you what to eat. That's but I would invite people to think about how they flow through their day, because I think, my real jam is, how do we think about food? How do we relate to it? What are the stories we're telling ourselves? What are the voices in our head beating ourselves up for because we had that brownie and it was 11:30 a.m. and why did you do that? There's so much behind the mind when it comes to how we metabolize food. We can metabolize it very well if we're giving ourselves permission for pleasure and we're enjoying it and we're eating it with awareness. or we can metabolize the exact same meal terribly if we're on the go. We're stressed as fuck. We're beating ourselves up. We're saying, you bitch, why did you eat the bread again? Come on, you had bread 2 hours. The voices in the head, the thoughts that we think, completely transform the way that you digest a meal. Completely transform. The same food doesn't. So that's why I'll never tell anyone, eat more chia seeds. You know, fantastic, great, but my purpose of coaching people is to allow them to be their own kind of best guide. You know, we all know, the body knows. It's going back to this whole thing again of the wisdom in the body. But what I would say from Abby's question is, if we really want to thrive, we really want to optimize how we energize this physical spacing that we've all been gifted, it's really powerful to understand energy again. Like, when are we most energized? When's our cortisol peaking and dipping? Are we putting stimulants into our body at 9 o'clock at night when our cortisol's dropping and readying us to go to bed? Can we get a bit smarter about that without being rigid about it? So again, it's that Tao symbol of chaos and order. We want to be dancing in the middle, right? That's the key, I think, to living a good life, is trying to find that sweet spot in the middle. So having the flexibility to know that we all want to go out, we want to enjoy, we want to take pleasure from food, but how do you set yourself up in the day to make sure that your blood sugar isn't on a roller coaster from the minute you wake up? How can you be really conscious of when you take pleasure and you enjoy it so that you're not riddled with guilt because you're just checking out with snacking at your desk because you're stressed all day and you're distracting yourself with endless bags of cashews? Been there, done that before in a past life, maybe in a semi-recent life. But that's also the point, you know. I'm the first one to say that I can emotionally eat. I can be all the things that my clients are because we're human. We have emotions. We eat, and therefore, you know, let's be real. Nobody's got a perfect diet. Nobody's got a perfect way to eat. But we can have principles that allow us to flow through our world that will set you up a lot more than if you're just checking out the food or you are on autopilot and, you know, maybe comfort eating, maybe emotional eating, maybe not eating enough is a very common one. People that restrict all day, their blood sugar drops, they get home at night, they're relieved that they've left their shitty job, per se, or they've got a great job but they're really stressed and they're not feeding themselves properly in the day, so they get to the evening and they're in that I deserve X, and they beeline to the fridge or they beeline to Garbo, and generally they don't feel brilliant afterwards. So it's all about rhythm, right? This isn't about rules, it's about rhythms. How can you operate out of the lens of really conscious, pleasurable, right for your body as well? This is the other thing to pay attention to. I used to be vegan, and that ended when I went traveling around Argentina on my own, and somebody was like, there's an asado tonight, and it was game over from then on. Okay. Steak is my friend. And to be honest, I have anemia, so I feel great with eating a bit of meat, and I'm aware of it, and I'm conscious of it, and there's no guilt there, and it's really like present moment awareness, like today, what am I feeling? What am I tuning into? Does my body need it? Are my hormones telling me I want this? Is my sleep terrible last night, so I need that? You know, really getting into that dialogue with your body, moment by moment, meal by meal, gives you so much power. And then you don't, well, what I find is the more that we tune in that way, the less rules we need about, I'm doing keto, I'm cutting out this, I'm avoiding that, I mustn't eat after 8 because of my intermittent fast. But what happens if you're starving at 9:30 and you go to bed hungry and then you're really irate and you can't sleep? What's better for you in that case? So the more we can tune into our own needs, our own rhythm, all throughout the day, and look after ourselves and take conscious choices and let ourselves have pleasure, the healthier our relationship with food is going to be, the healthier our relationship to our energy is going to be, and therefore, hopefully, we get a little bit more creative and a little bit more freedom in the day as well.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to be mindful of time, and I'm going to ask each one of the panelists here as well to just answer one question as briefly and precisely as you can. But to summarize today's experience, I think what we're learning or at least I am learning a lot about, is to learn to listen. To learn to really listen to this instrument, right? Which is what we want to use at the end of the day to create anything: success, money, growth, love, relationships. All we have is this beautiful body right here, sitting on this chair, sitting on a cushion right now. And how we choose to treat that body says a lot about how life is going to choose to treat. Oh, okay, okay. It's going to represent a lot about how life is going to choose to treat us back, right? Because we're mirroring that constantly. So listening in, tapping into your intuition, trusting a lot. I hope you guys received all those nuggets we wanted to share. And I'm just going to ask in a circle, or like semicircle, why is your softness your strength?
Powerful question. Why is it my strength? It is my strength because it helps me connect with my inner power. It is something that is within me. It is not external. It is internal. And since it is internal and it grounds me and it connects me deep within, I feel more connected to God. So I can achieve my ultimate goal, which is spiritual enlightenment and elevation. Yeah, that would be my answer.
I'm going to invite all of you to answer that question. And I'm also going to ask you guys in a moment, but please.
So why is softness my strength?
Your strength.
Well, you know my answer now, you were gone, but I said I love both sides the same amount. I would say softness is the part of me that says yes and. That's the one that is smarter than the no or the pushing, and that wants more to be agile, to practice like some Aikido with life, and say, oh, I feel this, I will listen to this, and I will balance it. If you don't want to go to the gym, yes, and if it's the 100th time that you feel like this, maybe go to the gym.
Yeah.
So it's always this, the yes and. I listen, but I also listen to the other part of me that says, yeah, but there's something else. Not the but yes and.
Beautiful.
Yes. I love this, just to take this concept of like balance and everything we talked about. Just when we look at the yin and yang, it's not a square. It's not a line, it's an ever-ending flow, and so whatever happens in the seasons in our lives, we're constantly ebbing and flowing, and when the wind is blowing outside, there's probably more agitation in our mind because that's wind element, so it's all about grounding, and it's like, yeah, so to take it back to the question, my softness is my strength. It feels like my essence. I think we've spoken about that before. For me, my softness is my essence, and I can be hard on myself and on others. And as we said before, being hard isn't necessarily bad. There's no bad or good, actually. There's just, whatever it is. But to take what Jen mentioned before, is softness is also acceptance. Acceptance of what is. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to stay still for the rest of my life, because it's impossible. But it's acceptance of what is, acceptance of what I feel, and what next, without expectation. It's creating that safety, I think.
Your turn, Jen.
I think for me, softness has really helped me connect so much more deeply, like obviously with myself. I go to the sea every morning, rain, shine, hail, not that we get hail in Barcelona, but I'll go to the ocean as if it's like my therapist every single morning, and I know if I don't go and I don't meditate by the sea, I feel so weird the whole day. I'm not myself. And I always find answers there. I think it was Rick Rubin said, a relaxed mind is a creative mind. And I'm my most relaxed, my most present when I'm by the ocean in the morning. And I've come to kind of soften there, especially in the last few months. It's been a tough transition for me. And there's a softness that has come through being by the ocean that I think has actually helped me become a better coach. Because there's just a transfer of empathy that I think the more connected you are to your own softness inherently, the more humanity we get to enjoy. We get to see ourselves and everybody else. And I think that for me is like the gift of softness. It's not staying hard in the face of challenges, it's staying open, it's staying soft to pain. And being able to develop that empathy for me is like the huge bridge between really resonating deeper with clients as well.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna add my part and then I'm gonna let you guys share if you want as well. My softness is my strength is because it allows me to come back home. It moves me back from here to here. And when I'm back in the body and I'm in that gentle space, I always look at softness like a curtain. Like I always remember when there's like a rainy day and you feel that curtain sort of like moving, a white curtain, and it feels very soft and gentle. And when I can access that part of me inside, I feel like I'm dancing with life. I think a lot of you follow me here, maybe. You see how much I dance on my Instagram, I'm constantly dancing on my stories. Life is about, for me at least, it's about learning how to dance with life. And I think that's the moment where I stop going on that punching bag with life. Why are you not giving me this? Why are you not giving me that? Why is this not happening? Why don't I know where I need to live yet? This and this, all these answers that I'm trying to figure out from the rational mind, which is also okay, balance. I welcome that. I welcome that fully. And at the same time, for me, softness is where I dance again. And I think when I dance with life, life dances back with me. And there's a really beautiful thing that happens there because everything just flourishes from that point. And beautiful people like you are in front of me because of that as well. So just want to say thank you to our beautiful speakers. And thank you to our beautiful panelists as well, our equal panelists today that also contributed so much.
And thanks as well to our beautiful illustrator.
Yes.
Do you want to share a little bit about what you do? Not really. I know what you do.
No, we don't.
I think we start.
Charlie's I can say it if you want.
Well, I can explain very briefly that my job is, I define myself a graphic harvester, which is a person that basically attends relevant conversations and harvests the fruit of those conversations, because if there is something good, then I want to be there to catch it. And I use the drawings to bring some beauty into something that sometimes is very rectangular, which is always rectangular. So colors and drawings. I'm not an artist because I didn't study art, but I'm a different kind of artist. So listening is my art. So, and that's it. And I came to support Jen and Avi, that I already knew. It was great to listen to you guys. And I had a lot of insights, and this was the reason why I came, because my life is really hard right now. And I'm pushing, I'm in the wheel right now. And so I kind of knew a lot of these things, but it's really interesting to hear it from people that practice those things and harvest fruits from that. Because I'm very good at pushing, not so good at being still. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to share with all of you tomorrow this beautiful art piece because it's a gift from Carlota to all of us. And this event isn't about us preaching things. I think a lot of the times when we go to a coach, a therapist, or when we turn on social media, it's about reminding ourselves. It's a reminder. May this event be your reminder to trust again. May this event and us as your mirrors be just that gentle reminder of what you already know, by the way. You didn't come here to learn anything new, probably. Actually, probably yes. There's a lot of wisdom and knowledge here. I don't want to take that away, but you guys know a lot of this already. Tap back in, tune back in, connect with your power, go all in with that masculine, feminine.
Like we are actually remembering.
Remembering.
This is
That's
universal
it.
knowledge.
Yes.
And when you do introspection and self-knowledge, that's why you feel like, oh, it clicks.
Yeah.
Because we all know.
That's it.
We don't remember.
So I'm just going to do, again, a little applause for all of us. And just because of time, and I want to give you guys some time to mingle, hug, do your thing. We have another half an hour in the space. They are a little bit strict with the timing here today. So let's use that half an hour to connect with each other, to share love, to chant to our kombuchas, and really like be in resonance of each other's energy. And do you want to, yeah?
If you guys want to pull a card from the center,
Whoever, yeah, please. Thank you guys.
This is so beautiful.
Do you feel?
I feel so soft right now.
Huh? Feel soft?
Sébastien, how funny that I refer to my spiritual enlightenment as a goal.
As a?
Goal.
Yeah?
Spiritual enlightenment is not a goal, right? I have so much work to do.
Yeah.
Tu comprends? Genre le fait que je l'ai appelé objectif, c'est une erreur, tu vois.
Tu parles français?
Oui, je parle français. C'est parce que Maroc on parle français aussi.